Jambo mambo familia angu. This is mimi ni Eli-Ben-Eli. Karibu karibu karibu. Karibu kanisani Eli-Ben-Eli. Uh my friends, I hope you're having a wonderful new year. I am too. I'm going to ask you to please keep Baba Eli in prayer. Some people are kind of I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what I'm interested in at the moment. I see that BK, BT Burundian Traveler, has decided to join the ranks of man. He's no longer wearing his hair long like a woman. He's cutting his hair very good. I congratulate him. And there's talk about how Diana Kemi might be carrying child or whatever. I hope not. I hope not. I mean, Burundian Traveler is not enough of a man yet. He's still a boy. He's still running around chasing little girls. He hasn't become a real man yet. But I hope, in the long run, I hope that him and Diana will form a happy union. I was watching what is going on in Nyabohanse, and so much that we spoke about has come to pass. So much has proven to be true, and I feel sorry for the people that are suffering. But in the long run, it is what it is. As to the subject of Sir Edward, who I think is a fictional character, I think that's a name that somebody is hiding behind. I will not mention. I have gotten my behind burnt by talking about and all of that nonsense. My attitude is I don't give a damn. I am a New World African. Okay, the only person who loves me is me. So I'm gonna just start backing off of a lot of those subjects. I want to introduce something new to my videos because I'm beginning to realize that I have to bring my videos closer to home, talk about things that are going on locally, and I'll only do it for a little bit of time, but talk about things that are going on locally. And I'm going to start introducing the subject of the politics of this state, of this nation, really. I don't know if any of you, some of you may have been to the United States. Some of you may live in the United States. We have a congressional district called the South Bronx, and it is the poorest congressional district in the United States. And we have a young man there by the name of Richie Torres, who is a remarkable person. Let me give him that much. He's remarkable. He entered politics at the age of 25 and got on the city council in New York City. That in and of itself is remarkable. This is a young man who dropped out of college, or is it high school? I don't know. First semester of college, I think he dropped out. And he's made a career for himself in politics and everything. He grew up in projects called the Frog's Neck Projects. Projects are public housing that the government creates for the poorest of people. And this man grew up suffering from asthma. And the projects were very badly maintained and were very moldy. And he frequently had to be hospitalized. They lived on what's called in this country welfare. That means that your family is so poor that the government goes ahead and gives you money to sustain you, to keep you eating, they give you housing, they give you everything. And this is the background that this man comes from, and yet he gets into office, and I noticed something. I happen to believe in progressivism, but I noticed that after the Israelis and the Gazans started to fight, he keeps posting all kinds of rubbish, calling for the continued war and no ceasefire and blah, 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 blah. And that guy turns out to be a warmonger, and he turns out to have a political value system that among the Democrats, which he belongs to, is called being a blue dog. He's a conservative Democrat. How? How did this happen? And there's a character in a movie that I really love called No Country for Old Men. And there's a psychopathic killer who's almost like a machine. Remarkable character. And this is who this guy puts me in mind of. Let me just say this. Congressman Richie Torres, who we're talking about, is supposed to be gay. He's half black, half Puerto Rican. That makes him a Latino. And he's poor. Oh, he came from a poor background. Right now he's supposed to be getting rich, apparently. Nobody knows how. On a public servant salary, this man is getting rich. But the thing is that you would expect homosexuals in America, even though the laws are getting better, are people who are persecuted. They're beaten up in certain neighborhoods. Black men in this country, they're killed left and right by the police, sometimes without any reason. And Puerto Ricans might as well be black. Heck, the majority of them are. How does this man go from living in the Track Neck Project in the South Bronx to being this ultra-conservative, no respect for Palestinian life, no respect for the fact that the IDF is killing women and children, no respect. His attitude is, let them keep doing it. Don't give them a ceasefire. They have to destroy Hamas. I just really hope that the people of the South Bronx get fed up with him and throw him out. Having said that, I have to go back to nyako, the crown jewel, it being the Villa Medellin, the scene of the thriller Manila Villa, where the great party of the century took place. Apparently, some things are working out the way that I predicted. I predicted that El Salvador, Rocio Cabrera, La Cabrera, does not want to marry Marwa. He doesn't, and apparently he took some advice that I gave. Not being on Marwa's enemy or anything, but I used to practice law, and I'm going to tell you something. In the United States of America, there are a lot of men who come from Africa, Asia, all over the world, and marry American women. And once they have those children by the American, some of them just marry women to stay in the country. Others marry the woman, have a child with that woman, and disappear with the child to their country. And once that happens, good luck if you're a woman trying to get that child back. They do not have enough money to do it. It just does not work. It is very, very expensive in African countries, Germany, European countries. They always support their nationals in custody battles. So apparently she's decided that she doesn't want to make that mistake. And she's demanding that if he wants to marry her, he has to marry her in Argentina. Rocio, that's the smartest thing you may have ever done. As to Diana Kemi, I'm very concerned about her, but I'm also very concerned about baby Carol. She and Diana Kemi have been good partners, and I hope that she hasn't thrown away baby Carol, because baby Carol brings a lot to Diana Kemi, and I hope they continue to work together. I also briefly wanted to mention what is going on in Jamaica with DeeMuango. I'm very, very happy for DeeMuango. very, very happy for her. Why? She's come to realize that racism against her own people is not producing good results for her. This idea of chasing after Mazungus and everything, not such a good idea. And let me not be a hypocrite. There was a time when I was younger in which I went through a phase which lasted years, in which I would never even date a Mazungu. But then there came a point at which I started learning that in America, a lot of black Americans looked at me and considered me a Mazungu. So I started dating Mazungu women. Wonderful people. But in the end, let a woman have shiny, firm, round buttocks and, and nice, firm breasts and a really dark skin and beautiful, beautiful lips like Black Beauty has. I can't look at that woman anymore. Every time that I look at those lips, I just daydream about pulling her face in and going, oh, come here, mama. Anyway, I just happen to really, really love black women. And I'm not going to lie, I still, white women are very beautiful too, but for me, I'm the kind of man that, unless a very special white woman came along, I would always be, I'm programmed to love dark-skinned black women. I think Dee is discovering that she's programmed to like black men. But anyway, my friends, I'm changing things up. I'm not going to talk too long in my videos, and I am going to talk about American politics a little bit. And I'll say one thing more before I end the video. You may have heard of him because he's worldwide known. There is a evangelical preacher called T.D. Jakes, and right now you may or may not know it, but there's a very powerful rapper, musician, businessman called P. Diddy, and he's being sued by several young men who accuse them of taking sexual advantage of them and worse. And all of these prominent black actors are being linked into this activity that he's engaged in. But you want to know what's astonishing? The Bishop T.D. Jakes, one of the most powerful black clergymen in America, a servant of God, it turns out that he's very closely linked to this man, and apparently he's into the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, L, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, blah, blah, blah. He's into that community. And this is stunning. He has his church right here in the city that I live in. It is astonishing to me that this great man of God was involved in all of this. He used to live, his mansion was about a few minutes from my home, and it's located next to this beautiful, beautiful park called White Rock Lake. And that lake is, is beautiful. Families go out there. But the men of the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, community, they love going in the bushes there and meeting each other. That's where he lived. He had a huge mansion right in those bushes. And his son kept being arrested for picking up other men. I mean, this is a family of people that are supposed to be servants of God. Wow. That's life in America for you. I'll be talking more about that kind of thing. I'll be talking more about the politics of my country and things that are interesting to me here. At the end of the day, the subject that I've been doing is very interesting to me. But 2024 is going to be a year of expansion. I'm going to expand the subject matter of what I'm interested in and what I talk about. In the meantime, familia Angu, Nakupenda, Malaika. All of you are my Malaika, or Malakim in Arabic. Malaika, Nakupenda, Malaika. I love each and every one of you. For those of you who have unsubscribed, hey, it is what it is. I hope that you come back. And for those of you who love me and are still here, I love you too. I love you with all of my heart. Have a wonderful day. Have a blessed new year. And keep Abu Eli-Ben-Eli in prayer. Quiet.